is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network.
Hello, Chicago Network is on the air. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Yanishadis, and it's time to focus for this Wednesday, March the 25th. Today, we're focusing on the White Sox and Cubs. We are just one day away from opening day, and if you're a Major League Baseball fan in general, opening day tonight, the premiere on Netflix. It'll be Yankees and the Giants. It'll be interesting to see how that all plans out, but that's exciting. That's tonight. But we get our local teams tomorrow. And don't forget, Hello Opening Day 105 on the YouTube channel. It'll be myself, Anthony Smoody. He's going to be covering Cubs and the Nationals. I'm going to be talking, and we're going to be talking a lot more White Sox, Brewers, and we'll go and get into that tomorrow. Looking forward to talking baseball as we kick off the season tomorrow. Should be exciting, should be fun. So Fan Focus Live, Hello Opening Day. Also going to be doing each commercial. We're going to show you who I think is going to win each division and the playoffs and who's going to win the World Series. So we're going to give all that during each commercial break. And then we're going to show the pitcher, and then I'll give my explanation when we come out of the break. So we're going to do it that way, and it should be fun. Let's start this thing off with the White Sox. Let's talk about over under wins. Let's take a look at for the White Sox here. And I think when you look at this, last year I said over, and I think the total was like 50 some wins, and they got 60. So they did get over, and they couldn't have, the thing is, it was a pretty safe bet because the way the White Sox played 2 years ago, where they had the worst season you could possibly have, they came out and it could not have been worse than 2024. And so it was a pretty safe bet to say over. And I think now this year, the number's getting a little higher, 67.5. I think the hitting is going to be there for the White Sox. I think there's still a lot of question marks about Murakami, but I think having him is having a power in the middle of the order. Benintendi's kind of there. I know they've traded a few guys, but I think as of right now, 67.5. I mean, that puts you at least, because I mean, they've had 4 straight years of 100 loss seasons. I don't think a fifth year would be terrible. And the fact, I mean, they do have the number 1 pick this year. They didn't even get the number 1 pick in the worst year, in the worst record in a baseball season a few years ago. But it's very tempting, but there are a lot of question marks. But I am going to say over for the White Sox. I think they are going to get over 67.5. The Twins, I think, are worse than them. I think they're going to be pesky against teams like the Tigers and the Guardians and the Royals. So I think there are going to be chances there for this team to win. So I'm 67.5. I don't feel confident. My gut right now is telling me under, but I think for this team to succeed, you don't want to see under would be taking a step back. I think they need to get over that hump and continue and try to end that streak of over 100 losses in a season. So I'm going to go over for the White Sox. So that's my take there. And now let's shift gears so I got over 67.5 for the White Sox. Now let's shift gears to the other side of town, and let's talk about the Chicago Cubs.
The following is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network.
Okay, let's now look into the Cubs season total. Of course, so many changes for the Chicago Cub team coming into the season. They're able to get Alex Bregman. They bolster up the rotation, something they needed. Because if you watch the second of the playoffs, you knew they needed more pitching. Well, and I think that's they did exactly like getting Cabrera and building up that rotation. Getting Justin Steele back, I think, is going to be huge. But right now, let's see here. Get that. Okay, so here's the Cubs. I said over in 2025, and they did go over. I believe it might have been the same number last year. And the Cubs, I believe, they were over 500 for the 2 years before that, but they didn't make the playoffs. Last year over, they had 90 some wins. That's huge. 2026, I think 88.5 is a little low. So I'm going to go over with the Cubs. I think I know the division's going to be a little bit better. I think the Reds are going to be good, but I mean, losing Hunter Green till July, they never can stay healthy. Brewers might take a step back. I think them winning the NL Central last year, everything had to go right, and the Cubs had a terrible second half. So I'm not ruling out the Brewers, and I'll tell you who wins the NL Central tomorrow on Fan Focus Live. Hello, opening day. But I still think the Cubs have the advantage. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, getting Bregman, that's huge. I think that's better than what they had from Kyle Tucker. And I think the rotation, Steele coming back in June. I know Suzuki being on the IL to start the season's a little rough, but so that kind of puts a gap in right field. So that might be interesting. But I still think at the end of the day, this team has what it takes to make the right move. So I think, and I'm not getting into playoffs and all that right now. That's tomorrow. But I'm going to say over 88.5 for the Cubs. I think that's where we're looking at right now. I think it's over. I feel like I said, I think the Cardinals are actually, how many times have we said that in our lifetime? I'm 34 years old. How many times have we been able to say the Cardinals are going to be the whipping boy of the National League Central? The Pirates might even be better. So it's going to be fun to see who steps up, who does what they need to do. So it's going to be an exciting year of baseball, but I got White Sox and Cubs both over. Cubs over would probably put them in the playoffs. I think White Sox need to not have, when we finish the season in the beginning of season 3 in late September, you just don't want to see the White Sox you don't want the White Sox to have 100 losses. Can't have a fifth year of that. And if they go under that total, I think we're in, I don't know. I think that really is not good. You got to keep moving forward. And right now they're in the right trajectory. I think this offseason you start building pitching, going to have their draft picks, but that story for another day. But I think we need to see overs from the White Sox and definitely from the Cubs. So that is that. So that's going to put a wrap on this one. Tomorrow, Hello Opening Day will be our show. We go live at 1:05. Anthony and myself, we're going to talk. I'll give you my playoff predictions. We're going to do all that tomorrow. It's going live at 1:05. Brewers and the White Sox. Well, it'll just be us showing it. We can't show the actual game exclusively because we're on YouTube. So we'll give the play-by-play. I'll do all that. It's Jacob Mizorowski against Shane Smith. We'll see what can happen there. And I'm actually obviously I'm rooting for the White Sox. I hate the Brewers, so this should be fun. So everyone, have a good day, and tomorrow enjoy opening day. Maybe Santa will bring presents tonight because it's Christmas Eve. So make sure you leave cookies out. Leave peanuts and Cracker Jacks and hot dogs out for baseball Santa tonight. That'll do it. Don't forget to like the video if you like what you see. Don't forget to comment your thoughts. Over under your thoughts on both these teams, and also subscribe to the Hello Chicago Network YouTube channel. Every Monday through Thursday, we are focusing mostly on Chicago sports. We're unfocusing at times as well with March Madness and all that going on. I'm Ryan Yanishadas from the Hello Chicago Network. We're the focus of Chicago sports.